chosen one. Heaven is not speaking to you by coincidence. The eternal voice of the Lord has broken into your moment because the clock of mercy is almost at its final second. You are standing in a space where decisions echo forever. This is not a polite invitation, it is a divine interruption. Your surroundings may look the same, but in the spirit realm, everything is shifting. The weight you feel in your chest right now is not anxiety, it is the gravity of eternity. The Lord has stopped the noise of the world just long enough for you to hear Him clearly, because this might be the last time He calls you like this. The ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. Still thunder, today I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. This is the line in the sand. The path of life and the path of destruction are not distant, they are at your feet. Your next step will place you firmly on one or the other. There is no middle ground left. Think back to the storms you've survived, the ones that should have swallowed you whole. Every narrow escape, every moment you were spared, was not luck. It was the mercy of God shielding you for such a time as this. But mercy unheeded becomes a witness against you. If you keep delaying, the grace you've taken for granted will no longer stand between you and the consequences you've been spared from. This is not a fear tactic, it is a wake-up call. You have been marked for a purpose too great to waste. You've always felt it. The strange feeling of being different. The discomfort when you tried to blend in. The inner stirring that refused to let you settle. Those were all signs. They were heaven's fingerprints on your life. Yet with great calling comes great accountability. And now, heaven will not let you drift quietly into destruction. You are being summoned to stand, to move, to obey now. Delay is no longer harmless. Every moment you hesitate, the enemy advances, and when he gains too much ground, taking it back becomes far harder than it had to be. You are still here because your assignment is not finished. But today is about more than just hearing these words. It's about answering them. God does not need your perfection. He needs your surrender, your yes. The kind of yes that changes what you do after you close this message. If you feel the fire in your spirit right now, it's because the Spirit Himself is testifying to the truth of this moment. Like this message, share it so others on the edge can hear this warning. And subscribe so you do not miss the next word that could keep you on the path of life. Then make your decision visible. Type this in the comments now. Type the number 144, the mark of the sealed, and set apart as your public declaration that you choose life today without delay. And understand this, when you type that number, it is not a game, not a meaningless gesture. It is a covenant moment between you and heaven, in the unseen realm. Such declarations are recorded. Angels bear witness. Demons take note. Your words have the power to shift the atmosphere around you, to cut off assignments of darkness that have been trailing you for years. This is why the enemy will try to convince you to stay silent. He will whisper, "It's not that serious. You can decide later. You can pray about it tomorrow." But those are not harmless thoughts, they are snares. The enemy knows if you act now, his grip is broken. If you delay, his chains only tighten. So this is not the time for half measures. Heaven is not calling you to think about it, but to act, to declare, to mark yourself as one who belongs fully to the Lord. There is a boldness rising in you right now, because the Spirit of God is igniting it. Don't smother that flame. Fan it into a blaze by responding instantly. The way of life is before you. The blessing is within reach. But it will not force itself upon you. You must take it. And once you do, nothing on earth or in hell can take it away. This is your final call. Step forward now, before the last light fades and the door is sealed forever. You feel it even before words form in your mind, the weight of being seen by the Almighty. God's eye is not scanning the crowd aimlessly. It has settled, unblinking, on you. This gaze is not casual. It pierces through every mask, every excuse, every carefully arranged facade. It does not see the image you present to others. It sees the truth. You live in secret. There is nowhere to hide from this kind of vision. It travels past your expressions, past your carefully chosen words, and into the motives that fuel your actions. This is why you feel exposed. Not because God is cruel, but because He is truthful. His seeing is not meant to shame you, it is meant to awaken you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 33, verse 18. But the eyes of the Lord are on those who fear Him, on those whose hope is in His unfailing love. This is both comfort and confrontation. Comfort, because it means you are not forgotten. Confrontation, because it means He notices when you turn away. The one who formed your heart also sees when it drifts. The gaze of God is unlike the gaze of people. People look until they grow bored or distracted. God looks until the work is done. He sees when you've stood firm against temptation. He also sees when you've chosen compromise. And He remembers the moments you justified it to yourself. There is no moment in your story that has slipped past Him, not the pain, not the victories, and not the failures you would rather erase. His eyes are searching for more than confession. They are searching for alignment. When God's gaze rests on you, it is because He is looking for agreement between what He has spoken over your life and the life you are actually living. Where He sees a gap, He will speak not to condemn you, but to call you back into that alignment. But being seen by God is not always comfortable. It means you can't hide in the shadows of your own excuses anymore. It means the prayers you've been praying without expecting an answer suddenly have an answer, and it demands something from you. When His gaze locks on you, it strips away the option of indifference. There's something else about His seeing. You are not the only one He sees. But in this moment, it feels like you are. You've felt invisible before, overlooked in rooms where your presence barely registered. But to the Lord, your existence is not lost in the vastness of creation. He is capable of holding the entire cosmos in His hands and still noticing the smallest tremor in your heart. That is how closely He watches over you. Yet, there is a holy seriousness to this watching. The same eyes that watch over to protect will also watch over to judge. The same love that guards you will also confront you when you wander. God's gaze carries both mercy and accountability, and you cannot separate the two. For the chosen, being seen means being shaped. It means you will not be left to wander aimlessly in self-deception. If you have felt the discomfort of conviction lately, it is because His gaze has found you. That discomfort is a gift, proof that your heart is still tender enough to respond. There are those who once felt it but hardened themselves until they no longer noticed. That is the most dangerous place a person can be, not in the midst of visible sin, but in the numbness where sin no longer feels like sin. You are not there. The very fact that you feel something stirring as you read this proves that God's eye is still on you, still drawing you back. In the days ahead, you will recognize His gaze in unexpected moments in the quiet when no one is around, in the conviction that rises mid-conversation, in the sudden clarity that certain paths are no longer for you. Do not push that away. The gaze of God is both your safety and your summons. When His eye is upon you, you are never lost. But when His eye is upon you, you are never allowed to stay the same. This is the tension of being chosen. The God who loves you as you are refuses to leave you as you are. His seeing is the first step toward your transformation. And once His gaze has found you, you cannot return to the comfort of being unseen. There is a heaviness that settles over your spirit when you begin to realize the true cost of disobedience. It is not just about missing blessings, it is about breaking alignment with the very One who has sustained your breath since your first cry. Disobedience is not a neutral act. It is a shift in direction, a turning of your steps toward a destination you were never meant to reach. You have felt it before, that subtle weight, that uneasy restlessness after you ignored a prompting you knew came from God. The Spirit doesn't shout to condemn you, but His silence afterward can be deafening. When the Lord speaks and you hesitate, something begins to wither in the soul. What once felt vibrant becomes dull. The voice you could once hear clearly becomes a faint echo. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12, there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. It is possible to walk a road convinced you are safe, all while heading straight toward ruin. This is why the Lord warns so sharply, because the end of that road is far worse than the start ever appeared. The cost of disobedience is not paid all at once. It drains you slowly. It takes your peace first, then your discernment, then your strength to resist temptation. And by the time you realize what you've lost, the climb back feels far steeper than you imagined. But here is the mercy of God. If you are hearing this right now, you have not gone too far. The very warning you are receiving is proof that the road back is still open. The enemy loves delayed obedience because it eventually becomes no obedience at all. He will distract you, convince you to wait for confirmation, make you feel like you need to be more prepared before you obey. But obedience is not about being ready, it is about being willing. The moment you act on what God has said, His power meets you there. There is no safer place than the center of God's will, and there is no more dangerous place than knowing His will and refusing to walk in it. Disobedience does not just slow you down, it invites storms you were never meant to face. But the opposite is also true. Obedience opens doors no human can shut. Right now, there is a shift happening inside you. You can sense the seriousness of this moment. You understand that the Lord is not trying to take something from you, but trying to protect something in you. His warnings are proof of His love, and your obedience is the key to unlocking the future He designed for you. If this is stirring you, I want you to seal this moment with a visible declaration in the comments. Type, "I burn bridges." By doing this, you are saying to heaven, to yourself, and to the unseen realm that you are cutting every escape route back to the old ways. You are choosing to destroy the path of compromise, leaving no way to retreat into disobedience. When the road behind you is gone, the only direction left is forward into the will of God, fully, permanently, and without regret. And understand, when you burn bridges, You make it impossible for your past to call you back. This is not about pride, it is about protection. Some bridges were built by the enemy himself, designed to carry you back into cycles you fought so hard to escape. If those bridges remain, they will be used against you in moments of weakness. Destroying them is not an act of loss, it is an act of warfare. There will be voices that tell you, keep that bridge just in case. They will make compromise sound wise, like you're keeping your options open. But those options are nothing more than traps dressed in safety. A soldier does not keep a path open for the enemy to invade. They cut it off entirely. When you say, I burn bridges, you are also saying, I trust God to make a way forward. Even if the old way was easier, faith is not proven when the path is clear, it is proven when the path requires trust. And here is the truth. Once the bridges are gone, the horizon opens. You will see possibilities that were hidden when you kept glancing backward. You will step into strength you never knew you had. Because forward will be the only way left to go. There are battles you have fought that no one else knows about, conflicts waged in silence. Wounds carried beneath the surface. Scars that never made it to the eyes of others. These are the hidden wars. They are not fought with weapons, you can see. But they have drained your strength, as if they were. They have left you questioning your own endurance, your own clarity, sometimes even your own faith. The Lord does not ignore these hidden battles. In fact, they are often the ones He is most attentive to, because they are the battlegrounds where destinies are decided. Outward conflicts can be avoided, negotiated, or delayed. But the wars of the heart and mind are relentless. They meet you in the quiet, in the night hours, in the moments when you think no one is watching. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. And it is in that whisper that God addresses your hidden battles, not with the noise of the world, but with the voice that cuts deeper than noise ever could. Your hidden battles have not been random. The enemy targets the unseen places because they are the foundation of the visible. If he can unsettle your inner world, it will eventually unravel what people see on the outside. That is why the pressure you feel in private is often greater than anything you face publicly. Some of these battles began long before you realized they were battles. A wound from a careless word spoken in childhood, a betrayal that taught you not to trust, a disappointment that quietly rewrote your expectations of what God would or would not do. These moments planted seeds. Some of them grew into fears, others into doubts, still others into habits you now struggle to uproot. The hidden wars are also where the Lord refines you. They strip away illusions. They reveal where your trust is genuine and where it is conditional. In the silence between the assaults, He asks questions you cannot avoid. Will you still believe when no one sees you believing? Will you still pray when there is no audience for your prayer? Will you still obey when no one applauds? There is a reason some victories have felt hollow, because you know they came without addressing the root battle beneath them. You may have won outwardly, but if the enemy still has territory in your mind or heart, the war is not over. But here is the hope. The same God who sees the war also equips you for it. He is not surprised by your hidden struggles. He has already prepared the words, the strength, and the timing that will bring you through. The gentle whisper is often His greatest weapon because it bypasses the noise, the chaos, and the lies, and it speaks directly to the core of who you are. In these battles, it is tempting to measure victory only by feelings, but true victory in the hidden places is often marked by persistence, not by emotion. You may not feel triumphant, but every act of faith in the dark is a strike against the enemy's hold. Every moment you choose truth over the lies running through your mind is a small but significant win. Your hidden battles will not last forever. Some end in sudden breakthrough, others end through a gradual wearing down of the enemy's hold until one day you realize the weight is gone. The timing is in God's hands, but your perseverance is in yours. And when the battle does lift, you will notice something. The victories no one saw will have prepared you for victories everyone will see. The strength you gained in obscurity will become the foundation of your public assignment. The wisdom you learned in silence will be the voice others listen to when their own hidden wars begin. This is why you cannot despise the battles no one knows about. They are not a detour from your calling, they are part of it. They shape you into a vessel that can carry the weight of what God is entrusting to you. And though the battles may be invisible to the world, they are fully visible to heaven, where every act of quiet endurance is recorded as a victory. And when the day of revealing comes, your private faithfulness will shine brighter than the greatest public victories ever could. There are moments in life when hesitation is harmless, pausing before a decision, taking time to weigh your options. But there are other moments when hesitation is costly, when the delay itself becomes the doorway for loss. You are standing in one of those moments now. The Lord has sounded a call over your life, and this is the hour to rise without waiting for a safer time. You've sensed it for days, maybe weeks, a stirring that will not let you settle. It comes in quiet reminders, in the way certain things you once enjoyed now feel hollow, in the way your heart races when you think about the things God has spoken to you. That is not coincidence. That is heaven telling you the appointed time has come. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 5. The Lord set a time and said, "Tomorrow the Lord will do this in the land." End of 4. When God sets a time, it is not a suggestion, it is a divine schedule. And when that schedule reaches its moment, the window does not stay open forever. The call to rise is not about proving your worth. It is about stepping into the worth God has already placed within you. For too long, the enemy has whispered that you are not ready, that you are too broken, that you've missed too many chances. But the truth is, God never calls you based on the version of yourself you see right now. He calls you based on the version He designed from the beginning. When you delay rising, you are not just holding yourself back, you are holding back the breakthroughs connected to your obedience. There are people whose deliverance is tied to your yes. There are prayers waiting for you to step into place so the answer can flow through you. Rising will cost you comfort. It will demand that you let go of certain patterns, certain places, even certain people. But the cost of staying where you are will be far greater. You were not made to linger in the shadows while your destiny waits in the light. The enemy thrives in your hesitation. He knows that the longer you wait, the more your courage fades, the more your vision blurs, the more the fire in your spirit cools. That is why the Lord is speaking now, urging you to move before the fire turns to embers. Your rising does not have to be loud or dramatic in the eyes of others. It only has to be decisive in the eyes of heaven. It begins the moment you act on what you've heard. It's in the prayer you finally pray, the step you finally take, the decision you finally stop postponing. And as you act on this word, Let it be more than just agreement in your heart. Let it be a step in the physical realm as well. When you like and share this message, you are helping the same voice that woke. You reach others still sleeping. When you subscribe, you are anchoring yourself to a steady stream of truth that will keep you moving forward. And when you choose to plant a seed into this work, you are joining hands with heaven's mission, saying, I am part of this move of God. Your gift, no matter the size, becomes a piece of the story God is writing through this message. When you rise, you set a precedent. The same way fear can spread through a crowd, courage can too. Your obedience today could be the reason someone else chooses to obey tomorrow. You may never see all the fruit of your rising this side of eternity, but heaven will record every act of faith you take from this moment on. The time is not next year, not next month, not even next week. The time is now. Heaven's clock is striking, and your place is waiting to be filled. Stand up, step forward, rise, because when you rise, you are not just changing your own story, you are shifting the spiritual climate around you. You are telling the enemy that his delay tactics have failed, and you are declaring to heaven that you are ready for the assignments written in your book before you were born. Every great movement of God began with someone who simply refused to stay seated when the Lord said, "Stand." Today, that someone is you, and your yes today will echo through generations. Marking a line the forces of darkness will never be able to cross. There are moments in the life of the chosen when heaven places a sign over them, a mark that cannot be erased by man or by the enemy. It is not a mark you see with your eyes, yet it is recognized in the spiritual realm instantly. Angels see it and move to guard you. Demons see it and know they cannot touch you without divine permission. This mark is not earned by effort. It is given through surrender and obedience. You are standing in such a moment now. The Lord is not only calling you to hear, but to be counted among those who respond instantly. In ancient times, God gave signs to separate his people from the rest, whether it was the blood on the doorposts in Egypt, the seal on the foreheads of the faithful in visions, or the names written in the Lamb's book of life. Each mark was more than a symbol. It was an announcement of ownership, protection, and destiny, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4, "Go throughout the city and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it." God's marks have always set apart those who are aligned with his heart from those who walk in rebellion. They are not for show, they are for survival, for identity, for eternal purpose. This prophetic number I will share today is not mystical in itself. It is an act of alignment. It is a way to say, I am counted, I am marked. I am not hiding my allegiance to the kingdom. In the unseen realm, acts like this do not go unnoticed. The same way rebellion sends ripples through the spirit, so does obedience. Some will hear this and delay, thinking they can mark themselves later. But delayed alignment is often lost. Alignment, when the Spirit stirs you to respond, it is because the moment is now not, when it feels more comfortable. The enemy loves to wait just long enough for the urgency to fade, so that you forget the weight of the call. You know in your spirit, if you are among the ones being marked today, you have felt the pull away from the things you once tolerated. You have found yourself grieving over what others ignore. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is proof that you are tuned to heaven's frequency. And heaven does not waste such sensitivity. When you are marked, you live differently. You cannot do what others do without conviction catching you. You cannot linger in places that dull your spirit without feeling the unease of the Spirit within you. Being marked means you have chosen the narrow road, and the narrow road has chosen you back. This mark is not just for protection, it is for positioning. It positions you to hear, to move, to be used when God says, "Now." Many are called, but few are marked, because few respond without hesitation. The mark is not earned by perfection. It is given to the obedient, to the surrendered, to the ones who say yes when God calls, even if they don't see the full picture. And today, the Lord is offering you that place. It is not a place of comfort, but it is a place of covering. It is not a place of applause, but it is a place of authority. When you bear heaven's mark, you walk into battles already claimed as victories. If your spirit bears witness to what you are reading, then do not just nod in agreement. Seal it with action. Type the number 318 the comments. This number is a reminder of Abraham's 318 trained men who fought to rescue what the enemy had stolen. It represents readiness, covenant loyalty, and the willingness to move without delay when the call comes. By typing 318, you are saying, "I am counted among the ready. I am under the covering of the Most High. I am marked for His purposes." And though others may scroll past without acting, heaven will see your declaration and remember it in the day of battle. This is more than a number. It is a line you draw in the Spirit. Step over it now, and let all of heaven and hell know where you stand. And from this day forward, every step you take will bear the seal of divine recognition and unstoppable purpose. There is a point in every story where mercy, though still present, begins to tremble on its hinge. It is not that God's love has lessened, it is that His justice is drawing near. This is the moment when the door of grace, once wide open, starts to move toward closing. The sound is almost imperceptible to the distracted, but to those tuned to heaven's frequency, it is unmistakable. You may have sensed it before, the tightening in your spirit when you consider ignoring what God has spoken. The unease that lingers when you walk a path you know is not His. These are not just feelings, they are warnings. God does not allow His chosen to wander without sending signs along the way. And those signs are acts of mercy. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 55, verse 6. Seek the Lord while He may be found. Call on Him while He is near. End 1. The very fact that He can be found now implies that there will be a moment when seeking will no longer yield the same answer. The nearness of God is not to be taken for granted. It is an invitation with a divine expiration date. Mercy is a gift, but it is not infinite in its opportunity. There comes a point when rejecting it again and again shifts the heart into hardness, where even the pull of the Spirit is ignored. At that point, it is not God who has stopped calling, it is the heart that has stopped listening. This is why the trembling of the mercy door is so significant. It is God saying, "The time to step through is now, not later." He knows how quickly distractions can multiply, how easily conviction can be drowned out by the noise of life. He warns because He loves, but His warnings are not without weight. Think of Noah's Ark. The door stood open for years while Noah built and preached. Every hammer strike was a sermon, every plank a prophecy. Yet the people laughed, delayed, or dismissed the urgency. When the door finally shut, it was not opened again, not because God lacked compassion, but because the appointed time had ended. The trembling hinge you feel in your spirit is the same warning. It is not meant to scare you without hope. It is meant to sober you, so that you choose rightly while you still can. God's mercy is still here, but it is calling you to act before the opportunity changes. You may ask, if God is merciful, why would he close the door at all? The answer is simple: because mercy is meant to lead you into transformation, not keep you comfortable in rebellion. If he left the door open forever, without consequence, sin would never lose its hold, and repentance would never be urgent. This moment in your life is one of divine tension. You are held between the kindness of God that invites you and the holiness of God that will not wait forever. Both are expressions of his love. The kindness draws you close. The holiness calls you to change. Do not mistake the trembling hinge for a sign of weakness in his grace. It is a sign of its strength. His mercy is strong enough to warn you, strong enough to stir you, strong enough to confront you before it is too late. One day, you will look back on this season and remember the feeling, the way your spirit seemed unsettled, the way his words carried more weight than usual, the way you could not escape the sense that a decision was pressing in on you, and you will either remember it as the moment you stepped through the door or the moment you let it close. Mercy's door is still before you, and it is still open, but it will not remain as it is forever. Every moment you wait, the hinge trembles a little more, and when that final moment comes, it will close, not with a violent slam, but with the quiet certainty of something that has been decided in heaven. There will be no bargaining then, no last-minute negotiations. The time to wrestle with indecision is now, while the voice still calls, while the light still spills through the doorway. You must understand, stepping through is not about being flawless, it is about being willing. God is not measuring perfection at the threshold. He is looking for surrender, for a heart that says, I will not waste this chance. Because once the door shuts, what remains on the other side is not opportunity, it is only memory. And memories cannot open doors. There is a truth that many try to ignore, yet it shadows every step of the chosen. The enemy knows your name. This is not meant to cause fear, it is meant to bring clarity. You are not invisible in the spiritual realm. You are recognized, catalogued, and opposed by forces that understand the weight of your calling. Sometimes even more than you do. Long before you were aware of your destiny, the enemy had already crafted plans to derail it. Has studies patterns, weaknesses, and cycles. He remembers moments when you almost gave up, and he tries to recreate them. He knows which voices you are tempted to believe, which distractions make you lose focus, and which wounds you've never fully healed from. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This is why the opposition you face often feels disproportionate to your visible position, because the war against you is not about where you are, but about where you are going. When the enemy knows your name, he will not waste resources on generic attacks. He will customize them. If you've noticed recurring struggles, patterns that seem to circle back, no matter how much progress you make, that is the mark of a targeted strategy. It is not random, it is intentional. Yet, Here is the paradox. The enemy's knowledge of your name is also proof of your significance. He does not wage war against what is irrelevant. The fact that your life draws his attention means your life carries weight in the kingdom. The enemy only tries to extinguish flames that have the potential to spread. Your name is not just known in the enemy's camp, it is known in heaven. Jesus told his disciples to rejoice, not because spirits submitted to them, but because their names were written in heaven. That is the highest recognition you can have, and it far outweighs the schemes of the enemy. Still, being known in heaven does not erase the need for vigilance. The early church understood this tension well. Paul was recognized by both realms. The demons said, "Jesus I know," and "Paul I know about, but who are you?" This shows that spiritual recognition is real, and it carries both authority and opposition. The enemy's knowledge of your name explains the intensity of some seasons. Have you ever felt as if the pressure around you made no sense for your current stage in life? That's because the resistance is not to who you are today, but to who you will be if you keep obeying. The attacks are often preemptive, strikes meant to exhaust you before you reach the territory assigned to you. But God's awareness is deeper than the enemy's. The enemy sees fragments of your story, your weaknesses, your tendencies, your past mistakes. But God sees the full picture. He sees not only what you've been, but what you are becoming in his hands, and his plans take into account every attack, every detour, every delay, weaving them into the ultimate fulfillment of his purpose for you. The knowledge that the enemy knows your name should not paralyze you. It should sharpen you. It should remind you that you cannot live as if your life has no impact. You are a marked person, not only in the light, but also in the crosshairs of darkness. This is why compromise costs you more, why apathy is more dangerous, and why surrender to God is your greatest shield. In the unseen realm, your name is not just a label, it is a signal to heaven. It signals a vessel in progress, a warrior in training, a child carrying an inheritance. To hell, it signals a threat, a disruption to plans that have been in motion for years. And perhaps this is why your journey has felt heavier than others' rock and a brogger. You have been fighting battles that were never about your present comfort, but about your future impact. The enemy's recognition of your name is a backhanded confirmation of your calling, and in time, it will also be the reason your testimony carries power, because you will have overcome, and your name will still be standing in the courts of heaven, long after the enemy's whispers fade. For every scheme he launched, God will write a greater victory into your story. In the unseen realm, there are moments when heaven stands still, waiting for a single word from you. Not because God needs your permission to act, but because agreement is the key that unlocks what has already been written in your favor. The angels assigned to your life move at the command of the Lord. But there are times when your yes becomes the signal for them to advance. You are in such a moment now. The Lord's plans for you are not uncertain, they are already set. What is in question is your alignment with them. Heaven's army waits for your agreement, not in theory but in action. This is the divine tension. God has decreed the victory, yet he calls you to step into it willingly. The ancient words recorded in the book of Judges, chapter 7, verse 7, give us a picture of this. The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Gideon's victory was already determined. Yet God required him to stand in that moment with those who had been chosen. The number was small. The odds were impossible. But heaven's army was waiting for that exact alignment before moving. It is the same for you. Your name has been marked, your purpose written. But the fullness of heaven's help often waits until your life posture says, I am ready. Agreement is not silent, it is active. It is the daily choice to walk toward what God has declared, even when it looks nothing like victory yet. This is why your words matter. In the spiritual realm, a declaration is more than sound. It is a banner, a flag planted in contested territory. When you speak agreement with heaven, you are not just encouraging yourself. You are signaling to every watching spirit where you stand. Your agreement shifts the atmosphere. It tells the forces of darkness, the ground you've been standing on is no longer yours. It tells the angelic host, the one we protect is in position advance. This is why passive agreement in your heart is not enough. Heaven responds to faith that moves, speaks, and acts. You may not see the full scale of the battle around you, but it is real. Every decision you make toward obedience sends ripples into that realm. And right now, there is an urgency for you to plant your declaration so that heaven's army can move without restraint on your behalf. Type armies. Advance. Ender. When you write these words, you are not making a casual comment. You are sending a command into the spirit realm. You are taking your place as one who fights under the banner of the King of Kings. You are telling heaven's warriors, the time for defense has ended. The time for taking ground has come. In that moment, your agreement becomes a war cry. Your obedience becomes a trumpet blast. Demons hear it and shudder because they know heaven's army moves at the command of the Lord, and you have just echoed that command. Angels hear it and stand ready, because your faith has signaled that the battle line has shifted forward. These 3 words are not empty. They are a summons for divine intervention and an announcement that you refuse to yield another inch. Let your words today become the sound that triggers movement in heaven. The armies are ready. The commander has spoken. It is your turn to answer. Let this be the moment you remember when battles in your life shifted, not because circumstances suddenly changed, but because you stepped into the authority already given to you. The shout of armies, advance, is not for the timid. It belongs to those who understand that their fight is not just for survival, but for territory. Territory in your family, in your mind, in your calling, and in the generations that will follow you. There are wars being fought over things you cannot yet see, relationships that have not yet been restored, doors that have not yet opened, victories that have not yet been revealed. But heaven sees them, and the command you echo now sets in motion a chain of events that will reach them in time. Do not underestimate the power of this alignment. You are not sending soldiers into battle. You are joining them. You are locking step with the armies of heaven, moving forward under the orders of the commander who has never lost. And as you move, you will see that the ground taken today will become the foundation for tomorrow's victories. There is a shield over your life that has been forged in the fires of eternity. It is not the kind of shield you carry with your hands. It is carried over you by the hand of the Almighty. The storms may rage, weapons may be aimed, but none of them can pierce what heaven has decreed over you. You may have felt surrounded, as though the assaults would never stop. Yet even in the most relentless battles, there is a truth you must remember. No attack formed against you can succeed when you remain under the covering of the Lord. This is not optimism, it is covenant. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 91, verse 4. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Weapons will be forged. That much is promised. They will come in the form of betrayal, sickness, loss, financial strain, or even inner battles that try to choke your faith. But the same God who sees the enemy's blueprint has already issued his counterorder. They will not prevail. They may bruise you, but they will not break you. They may slow you, but they cannot stop you. This is the heritage of those who belong to him. Your protection is not based on your strength, but on his faithfulness. You are not standing because you've never been hit. You are standing because every hit has met the wall of his promise. Still, there is something God requires, that you remain under his shield. A soldier who leaves the fortress cannot blame the commander when the arrows find him. In the same way, we must stay close to the one who covers us. That means obedience, trust, and refusing to step outside his will for the false comfort of compromise. The world will tell you to fight in your own strength, to rely on your own plans, to make your own way. But your shield is not your ability, it is his word over you. And when you hold to that word, even the fiercest assault loses its power. Think about the moments when you thought you would break, but didn't. When everything seemed to collapse, but you were still there in the morning. Those were not coincidences. Those were the shields of the Lord catching the impact before it crushed you. And now, you have a choice. You can hear this truth and nod. Or you can take action to strengthen the fortress around you, not just for yourself, but for those connected to your life. When you like and share this message, you are building a wall of faith around someone else who may be under attack right now. When you subscribe, you keep a steady stream of God's word coming into your spirit, so the shield stays lifted. And when you plant a seed into this work, you are not paying for protection. You are aligning with the mission that delivers these shields of truth into the lives of others. Your giving becomes part of the defense line for someone you may never meet, but whose breakthrough is tied to your obedience. Every act of faith builds the shield higher, stronger, broader, and every declaration you make based on his word turns back another arrow. You are not powerless, you are protected. And not just protected, you are positioned. The same God who covers you also sends you forward. Because the shield is not just for defense, it is for advancing into the places he has promised. So lift your head. The arrows may fly, but they will not decide your future. The weapons may be real, but so is your covering. And the one who holds the shield over you has never lost a battle. And when you walk with that certainty, you stop reacting to every arrow as if it has the power to define you. You begin to move with the calm of someone who knows the outcome has already been secured. The enemy's greatest frustration is a believer who refuses to flinch, who keeps advancing even while the sky is dark with incoming fire. That kind of faith does not grow overnight. It grows in moments like this, when you remember that the shield is not just near you, it is over you, around you, and will never leave you. There comes a point in the journey of every chosen one when the weight of the past is confronted and broken. These are the chains that do not rattle in the open, the ones no one else can see. They wrap around decisions, habits, and thought patterns. They are forged from old wounds, generational patterns, and agreements made in moments of fear or weakness. Some have been with you for so long that you have learned to live around them, building your life within the boundaries they set. But the Lord never intended for you to live chained. The work of His Spirit is not just to comfort you in your bondage, it is to lead you out of it entirely. He is the chain breaker, the one who not only frees but destroys the restraints so they cannot be put back on you again. The voice of God thunders through the prophet Nahum. Chapter 1, verse 13. Now I will break their yoke from your neck and tear your shackles away. End 1. This is not a polite suggestion, it is a decree. When God declares a chain broken, it is not loosened temporarily, it is shattered beyond repair. Yet breaking chains is rarely gentle. It involves force, confrontation, and the exposure of what has held you captive. God will bring you face to face with the root, not to shame you, but to make the breaking complete. If the chain is fear, He will lead you into situations where you must act in courage. If it is unforgiveness, He will present opportunities to release those you've held bound in your heart. If it is pride, He will allow moments that strip away self-reliance until humility becomes your strength. Many resist this process because it is uncomfortable. Chains feel familiar, and familiarity can masquerade as safety. You know how life feels within the limits of your bondage. But freedom requires stepping into the unknown, and yet it is only in that unknown that you will discover the strength and identity that were locked away with you. When the Lord breaks chains, the enemy will often try to convince you they are still there. He will point to old patterns, tempt you with old fears, and whisper that nothing has really changed. But the truth is, once God has shattered the shackle, all that remains is the echo of its weight, a phantom that disappears the moment you step forward in obedience. Some chains have been passed down, woven into family stories and behaviors so deeply that they feel like part of your identity. But in Christ, your bloodline shifts. You are no longer bound by what was handed to you. You are defined by the one who has called you His own. The breaking in your life is not just for you, it sets a precedent in your lineage. When you walk free, the generations after you will walk on the ground your freedom has claimed. Breaking chains also changes your vision. While bound, your eyes are fixed on what is immediately around you, survival becoming your focus. But once you are free, you can see the horizon again. You begin to dream, to hope, to move toward purposes that once seemed impossible. The enemy knows this, which is why he fights so hard to keep the chains intact. There is a sound in heaven when a chain breaks, a sound that marks the shift in ownership. No longer does the enemy have the right to dictate your steps. No longer does the weight of the past decide your future. You belong to the Lord, and His word over you is final. Freedom is not an abstract idea. It is the tangible reality of living without the restraints that once defined you. It is walking into each day without the constant pull backward. It is making choices from a place of clarity instead of fear. And it is available now, not just in some distant season of your life. If you have felt the tension of this breaking in your own story, know this: God is not halfway through. The process may be intense, but the outcome is certain. What He has started, He will finish. The chains will not follow you into the future He has prepared. They are destined to be left in the dust of your past. And when you finally look back, you will see nothing but broken links behind you. A trail of victories that testify you were never meant to live bound. There are moments when the Lord calls His people to stand apart, not in pride, but in consecration. To be consecrated is to be set aside for a holy purpose, marked as unavailable for the plans of the enemy. It is a separation that speaks louder than words, a declaration that your life does not belong to this world, but to the kingdom. This separation has always been a sign in Scripture. The Levites were set apart to serve in the temple. The prophets were called out from the crowds to speak the words of the Lord. The disciples left everything familiar to follow Jesus. In every case, the separation was not just about leaving something behind, it was about stepping fully into what God had prepared. The Spirit spoke through the Apostle Peter, as recorded in his first letter, chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." End of quote. This is not poetic sentiment, it is an identity statement. When God calls you his own, he also calls you to live like it. Being marked for him means that the patterns of the world no longer dictate your steps. You cannot compromise the way others do without feeling the weight of conviction. You cannot ignore the call without sensing the Spirit's gentle but persistent pull. And this call is not seasonal, it is for life. The Lord is even now calling forth those who will bear his mark openly. In the days ahead, the distinction between those who are his and those who are not will grow sharper. This is not to instill fear, but to awaken readiness. The times demand clarity, and clarity begins with public identification. In the unseen realm, to be marked is to be counted. It is to say to heaven, "I am here, I am yours, and I will not blend into the background when the battle comes." And it is to say to the enemy, "Your claim over me is broken. My allegiance has shifted permanently." There is a prophetic act to be made today. It is not about earning God's favor, you already have his love. It is about declaring where you stand and sealing that declaration with a visible sign. If you know this word is for you, and you feel the Spirit calling you to be counted among the consecrated, then mark it now. Type the number 452 in the comments. This number stands as a reminder of Nehemiah's 52 days of rebuilding the walls, a work of restoration, multiplied by the strength of covenant. 4, representing the corners of the earth, the fullness of his reach. By typing 452, you are declaring, "I take my place in the work of restoration. I will be a wall builder in my time, standing for what God has entrusted to me." And so, let it be more than keystrokes on a screen. Let it be the outward sign of an inward reality that you belong entirely to the Lord, and that your life is set apart for his purposes alone. Because when you make this declaration, something shifts. It is not only about your personal walk, it ripples into every area connected to you. Families feel it. Relationships feel it. Even the spiritual atmosphere around your home changes. The unseen world takes notice when someone chooses consecration over compromise. The number you type becomes a line in the sand. It is a reminder in the days ahead that you have already decided whom you serve. When temptation comes, when discouragement presses in, when the voices of the world grow loud, you will remember this moment and the covenant you sealed. And heaven remembers too. Angels are dispatched not just to protect you, but to partner with you in the assignments God places in your hands. The mark of consecration is not about isolation, it is about empowerment. You are separated not to stand alone, but to stand strong in the company of those heaven calls brothers and sisters in the fight. So let your declaration today be bold. You are not hiding your allegiance. You are broadcasting it for both realms to see. You are counted. You are chosen. And you are committed to live as one who carries the mark of the King. And from this day forward, every step you take will testify that your life is no longer your own. It belongs fully to Him. The path ahead of you is narrowing, not because God wants to make life more difficult, but because the deeper you go into His purposes, the less room there is for distraction, compromise, and divided loyalties. The narrow path is not for the many, it is for the few who are willing to pay the cost of walking closely with Him. From the outside, the narrow path looks restrictive to those who value freedom as doing whatever they please. It feels confining, but the truth is, the narrow way is the place of true liberty. It removes what entangles you. It cuts off detours that would lead to destruction, and it keeps your eyes fixed on the one who goes before you. Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 14, "But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." No, this is not a statement of exclusion. It is an invitation to intimacy. The few who find it are those who have chosen it above the ease of the wide road. On the narrow path, you discover the beauty of focus. There are fewer voices vying for your attention because you have decided which voice matters most. There are fewer crossroads pulling you in different directions because you have already chosen your destination. And while the path may wind upward, the clarity of its direction gives you a confidence you will never find in the chaos of the crowd. The narrow path also changes your pace. You cannot rush through it recklessly. Each step becomes intentional, measured, and aware. In this slower rhythm, you notice the details of God's guidance, the subtle leading, the quiet encouragement, the gentle corrections that would be drowned out in the noise of the wide road. Yet walking this path also means facing the reality that not everyone will walk it with you. There will be moments when you look around and realize you have left behind people, places, and comforts that once defined your life. This separation is not meant to breed loneliness, but to anchor you in the truth that your ultimate companionship is with Him. The narrow road is a place of refinement. The trials you face here are not punishments, they are chisels in the hands of the Master, shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of your calling. Here, pride is stripped away. Dependence on self is replaced with dependence on God, and your vision is aligned with His. Sometimes, the most challenging aspect of the narrow path is that it feels hidden. You may not have crowds cheering you on or recognition for the steps you take, but the narrow road has always been a place of hidden growth. Roots go deep here, unseen, so that when the time comes for your life to bear fruit, it will not wither under pressure. The enemy will often tempt you to step off this path, offering shortcuts that promise the same destination without the discipline. But shortcuts never lead to the same place. They may look appealing for a moment, but they are designed to pull you away from the life-giving presence that only resides along the road God has prepared. The longer you walk this way, the more you realize that its narrowness is actually protection. It keeps you from wandering into traps you cannot yet see. It forces you to trust the one who knows the end from the beginning, and it assures you that every limitation here is for the sake of greater freedom ahead. When you choose the narrow road, you are not just making a choice for yourself, you are leaving a trail for others to follow. There will be those who see your steps and realize there is another way, a better way. Your faithfulness will become a living signpost pointing toward life. The wide road will always seem easier. It will be filled with noise, options, and the illusion of control. But only the narrow road leads to the place you were created for. And though it may demand more of you, it will also give you more than you could imagine. More peace, more joy, more of His presence than the wide road could ever offer. So do not despise its smallness. Embrace its simplicity. Every step here is a step deeper into the life God has promised. And every mile you walk is another mile closer to seeing Him face to face. The narrow road is not for the faint-hearted, it is for the wholehearted. And you have been called to walk it. There are fires in life that are meant to destroy, and there are fires in life that are meant to refine. The difference is not in the heat, but in the hand that controls it. For the chosen, fire is never wasted. It is the tool God uses to burn away what cannot go with you into the next season. The prophet Isaiah spoke of this in chapter 48. Verse 10, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Oh, this is not a casual image. It is the language of deliberate, intentional shaping. God does not place His people in the furnace to watch them suffer. He does it to purify them until only what is of eternal value remains. The fire that comes into the life of the chosen is not always visible to others. Often, it is an inward burning pressures, trials, and conflicts that you carry quietly while others see only your steady exterior. It is in this hidden furnace that faith is proven, not when everything is easy, but when everything feels like it could break apart at any moment. And still you stand. You may have wondered why certain trials seem relentless. Why God did not simply remove them when you prayed. The answer often lies in what the fire is accomplishing. Some impurities are only revealed under heat. Certain attachments, fears, and false securities cling tightly until the flames force them to release their grip. The refining fire is precise. It does not consume at random. It targets what weakens you, what distracts you, what holds you back from carrying the weight of your calling. You may not see the exact work being done in the moment, but when the season changes, you will realize you have been strengthened in ways that could not have happened without the trial. This is the paradox of the furnace. While the enemy sees it as a place to destroy you, God uses it as a place to prepare you. The very flames meant to consume, you become the environment where your faith becomes unshakable. What once would have broken you no longer has the same power. Think of the three in Babylon: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were thrown into a fire so hot it killed the men who carried them there. Yet, they walked unharmed because the Son of God was with them in the flames. The fire did not destroy them, it destroyed the ropes that bound them. This is the nature of God's refining work. What was binding you is burned away. While you remain untouched at the core, the refining fire also reveals what is truly inside you. Heat exposes what has been hidden, both the good and the bad. It shows the cracks in your faith, but it also brings to the surface the gold that God has placed within you. And once that gold is revealed, it shines all the brighter for having passed through the flames. It is tempting to want the fire to end as quickly as possible, but rushing out before the work is complete only delays the strength and purity God intends to give you. Just as silver must remain in the heat until the refiner sees his reflection in it, so must you remain until God's image is more clearly seen in you. There will come a day when you look back on this season and see it differently. What now feels like loss will be revealed as gain. What feels like stripping will be revealed as equipping. You will recognize that the fire did not diminish you, it defined you in the kingdom. Refined ones carry a weight and authority that cannot be manufactured. They have been tested, and they carry the evidence of endurance. Their words have power because they have been spoken from the furnace. Their faith inspires because it has been proven under heat. So, if you are in the fire now, know this: you are not alone in it. The same God who allowed you into it will bring you through it. And when you emerge, you will be stronger, purer, and more unshakable than you were before. The fire will not consume you, it will commission you. And those who witness your life afterward will see the glow of refinement, not the smell of smoke. And they will know the fire only made you shine brighter. Your endurance will become their courage to face their own flames. There is a point in every battle when the outcome is near, but the final push still demands everything you have. This is where many grow weary, not at the beginning, when adrenaline runs high, but near the end, when the strain has taken its toll. It is in these moments that the enemy whispers, "You've done enough. Step back. Let go." But heaven's voice says the opposite. Press through. Victory is at hand. Oh, the apostle declared in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." These words are more than a personal testimony. They are a battle standard for all who are running their final stretch. They remind you that the crown is not given to the fastest starter, but to the one who finishes standing. This final push is not about proving your strength, it's about proving your persistence. God is not looking for those who never feel tired. He is looking for those who keep moving forward, even when tiredness presses in like a weight. There is a special anointing that rests on endurance because it mirrors the heart of the one who endured the cross. Think of a runner in the last stretch of a race. Every muscle burns. The finish line seems far, but each step forward is a defiance against quitting. That is what the final push in the Spirit looks like. Steps of obedience taken when everything in you wants to rest. And with each step, the gap between you and the promise narrows. Sometimes the final push comes with increased resistance. The enemy often fights hardest when he knows his grip is slipping. You might see sudden distractions, unexpected setbacks, or even moments of doubt. But these are not signs you are failing, they are signs you are close. The darkest part of night is just before the dawn, and the fiercest pushback often comes right before breakthrough. This is the moment to focus like never before. You do not need to fight every battle at once. You only need to keep pressing in the direction God has set before you. One more prayer, one more act of obedience, one more step toward what He promised. Each act compounds, building unstoppable momentum. And as you press in, remember, you are not pressing alone. Heaven is in motion alongside you. Angels are not stationed idly, they are active, reinforcing your steps, clearing paths you cannot yet see. The commander of heaven's armies is not watching from a distance, he is leading from the front. Now I want to invite you to turn this word into action, not just for yourself, but for those still stuck in their own battles. When you like and share this message, you are sending strength into someone else's race. You might be the reason another warrior finds the courage to take their next step. When you subscribe, you are planting yourself in an ongoing stream of truth, that will keep your spirit ready for every push that lies ahead. And when you sow into this work, you are not merely giving, you are investing in the victories of countless others who will hear and rise because of what you made possible. Your seed becomes part of the final push for someone else's deliverance. If you know you are in your own final stretch, seal it now. Type, "I finish strong." When you write these words, you are declaring before heaven and hell that quitting is not an option for you. You are marking yourself as one who will cross the finish line with your faith intact. No matter how much strength is left in your body, it is a vow of perseverance that will echo back to you in the moments you need it most. The finish line is not just about you. The victory you step into will ripple into the lives of others. Your breakthrough will inspire theirs. Your persistence will silence the lies that told them it couldn't be done. Like, share, subscribe. So, do it as an act of war against quitting. Do it as a declaration that you are committed to the final push, not just for yourself, but for the army you are a part of. The end is in sight. The harvest is ready, and heaven is watching to see who will reach out and take it. And when you do, all of creation will testify that you did not shrink back. You pressed forward until the crown was placed firmly in your hands. There is a moment in every divine story when the door finally shuts. It does not slam in anger, nor creak in uncertainty. It closes with the unshakable finality of heaven's timing. Once it is sealed, the chapter it guarded is complete. Nothing can be added. Nothing can be removed. The closing of God's door is not about punishment. It is about the fulfillment of purpose. Every door He opens has a season, and every season has a span. The open door is an invitation to step in, to obey, to move with the flow of His Spirit. But when the purpose of that opening has been met, or when the time allotted has passed, the same hand that opened it will close it. The book of Genesis gives us a sobering image of this in the days of Noah. For years, the ark stood with its door open, while Noah worked and warned. Each day was an opportunity for someone to step in. The voice of God is recorded in the book of Genesis, chapter 7, verse 16. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. From that moment, those outside could not enter, and those inside could not leave. The time for decision had ended. There is a weight to such a moment. Those who are ready find safety and provision. Those who are not find themselves on the other side, where the opportunity is gone. And unlike the shifting of human schedules, the timing of God's door is not negotiable. His decisions are not subject to the persuasion of latecomers or the bargaining of those who waited too long. The shutting of the door is not always dramatic. Sometimes it happens quietly. A relationship ends. A job closes. A chance to act fades away. You may not even realize until later that the window you once had is gone. But in the spirit, it is just as final as the ark's door. This is why the moments before the door shuts are so critical. They are the threshold of change. The line between can and cannot, between still possible and no longer available. The enemy loves to dull your senses in this space, to make you believe you have more time than you do. He will fill your thoughts with delays, distractions, and the illusion of safety and waiting. But he knows the truth. When God's door closes, it is not human hands that can open it again. The closing door is also an act of mercy. For those inside, It seals them into the place of protection. It draws a boundary that keeps out what would harm or hinder. It prevents the return to places or seasons that no longer serve the calling of God. What feels like loss in the moment may, in time, be revealed as divine shielding. Yet, for those outside, the closing is a sober reminder that opportunity is not eternal. God's patience is fast, but it is not without end. His desire is always that you respond before the closing, not after. The tragedy of those who miss it is not that God withheld it, but that they did not enter while it was open. If you are in a season where you sense the door is about to shut, take inventory of what you are carrying. What must be inside with you before it closes? What must be left behind? The ark could not take everything, only what God had appointed. The same is true for your life. Not every relationship, possession, or plan can go through the next door with you. There is a holiness to the moment when heaven seals something. It is the completion of a cycle, the turning of a page. It marks the end of what was and the securing of what is to come. And once it is done, your focus must shift entirely to what lies ahead. Do not fear the doors closing. If you are inside, it is your safety. If you are outside, it is your warning to watch for the next opening and be ready to move when it comes. In either case, the timing belongs to the Lord, and His timing is always perfect. And when the next door swings wide, you will not hesitate. You will walk through with clarity, courage, and the certainty that this time, nothing will hold you back. For you have learned the value of God's timing and the cost of delay. There is a crown that does not tarnish, a reward that is not made of gold or jewels, but of glory that flows from the very presence of God. It is reserved for those who have walked the path appointed to them, who have endured the trials, resisted the snares, and finished their course with faith intact. Crowns in the kingdom are not given for status, they are given for faithfulness. They are not handed to those who began with excitement, but faded when the journey grew hard. They are for those who pressed through the valleys, faced the storms, and still stood at the end with their eyes fixed on the King. The Apostle James writes in his letter, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." This crown is more than an ornament. It is an eternal testimony of your love for Him, a mark that you have lived as one who belongs to another world. Life on this earth is a series of tests. Though often they do not feel like formal examinations, they come disguised as delays, betrayals, battles in the mind, and crossroads where obedience costs something dear. Every one of these moments carries the opportunity to either move closer to the crown or turn aside from it. Some will forfeit their crowns, not because they lacked calling, but because they allowed temporary pain to outweigh eternal reward. Others will hold fast, even when the weight feels unbearable, because they have trained their eyes to see beyond the present moment into the joy set before them. The crown of life is not earned through perfection, it is given through perseverance. Even the righteous fall, but the difference is that they rise again. They may stumble, but they do not surrender their allegiance to the one they serve. Each recovery becomes another step toward the day when the crown will be placed upon their head. In the courts of heaven, this moment is deeply personal. The King himself does not delegate the crowning to an angel. He places it on you with his own hands. His eyes meet yours, and in that gaze, every tear, every sacrifice, every lonely night is acknowledged. There is no applause loud enough to compare to the weight of his voice when he says, "Well done." End of. This is why the trials you face now matters so much. They are shaping you into someone who can wear that crown with honor. A crown given to the untested would be a mockery. A crown given to the refined is a glory. There will be days when the thought of that crown feels far away, almost unreal. The dust of battle will blur your vision, and the voices around you will tempt you to settle for lesser prizes. But the spirit within you will keep calling you forward, whispering that there is more, that this is not the end, that you have not endured in vain. The enemy knows he cannot steal your crown once it is given, so he aims to convince you to lay it down before you reach the end. He will try to make the fight seem pointless, the path seem endless, and the reward seem small. But he is a liar. The crown is real, and its worth is beyond measure. In eternity, there will be many sights and sounds beyond our imagination, yet among them, one of the most powerful scenes will be the moment when the crowned lay their rewards at the feet of the King, not in loss, but in worship. For even the glory we receive is ultimately His, and our greatest joy will be to offer it back to Him. So now, as you stand in the middle of your own race, let this truth anchor you. The crown is already set aside for you. It is not waiting for someone else. It bears your name. And when the day comes, no power in hell, no scheme of man, and no failure of your past will be able to claim it from you. Run with that in mind. Stand with that in heart. And let every step from this day forward be taken in the knowledge that the King is waiting at the end, not only to welcome you home, but to place upon your head the crown of life that cannot fade. You have walked through this message step by step, and by now you know this was not an accident. Every word was a seed, every truth a spark meant to stir something deep within you. If your spirit has been burning while you listened, it is because heaven has been speaking. The calling on your life is real. The assignment on your shoulders is weighty, and the time to move is now. Do not let this be just another word you heard and forgot. Let it be the one you act on. You've been entrusted with truth, and truth calls for response. One way you can respond today is simple. Let this word run further than your own ears. Like and share this message so it can be the answer to someone else's midnight prayer. You might not see their face, but your action could be the reason they don't give up. If you've found strength here, leave a comment below, not just for me, but as a public declaration that you are part of the remnant who refuses to bow, who chooses to stand. Words have power, and your written agreement is another weapon in your hand. Subscribe, so this connection is not a one-time encounter, but an ongoing stream of life-giving truth into your soul. And if the Lord has stirred your heart to sow, give into this work, not out of pressure, but as a prophetic act of partnership in what God is doing through it. Every seed fuels the spread of this message to places we may never step. But where the light is desperately needed, the race is still ahead. The crown is still waiting, and heaven is still watching to see who will rise. Let it be you.